Welcome back to my channel. If you're a frequent viewer of my channel, you will know what earthing and grounding is. There is scientific evidence that actually touching the earth and grounding the human body to the earth, there will be health benefits such as better sleep, less oxidative stress, better cortisol regulation, and in general, you just feel better and you start healing. So right now, the grounding industry is probably about $300 to $500 million worldwide and growing rapidly. I've seen that too online, where I'm one of the admins of an Earth and Grounding HEALH forum, and we're the largest at about 56,000 members, growing at about 500 a week. And it's a very active group and people are having benefits and it's an amazing thing. So if you haven't heard about this, you're gonna have to watch this video, because today I received some grounding shoes from Bahé, and we're gonna actually test these shoes so we can determine if they work or not. And hopefully you'll also learn how to test them at home yourself so that you can actually test your grounding products. Ready? Let's get started. Before we test grounding shoes, you have to have a multimeter, and the multimeter measures several things such as current, voltage, and also resistance. So in this case, we have the meter set up so that it's going to measure resistance, and we have it on ohms here, and it shows an OL, which means overload. The resistance between the black and the red lead is infinite, so therefore it's overload. But when I touch the two leads together, it confirms that they are low resistance when in contact, less than 0.2 ohms. So keep in mind though, your skin itself has anywhere from 1,000 ohms when it's moist, all the way up to millions of ohms when it's dry. So for example, I have calluses on my finger, and at 1 inch apart, my resistance is about 5.6 million ohms. And if you look at my forearm where the skin has less calluses, we can get down to about 600,000 ohms in terms of resistance. So keep in mind also that the grounding cords and the grounding products that you buy with the cord, there is typically a 100,000 ohm resistor in the cord itself. That restricts current flow. It restricts current flow to your body as well as current flow out of your body. You don't want the current flow to be greater than 1 microamp, because that can actually have biological effects, meaning that it can cause oxidative stress, damage to your cells, and possibly long-term even cancer. So if you want to ground properly, you have to understand that you don't want a lot of current flowing either in or out of your body. And with grounding, what we're trying to do is dissipate or discharge the built up charges caused by capacitive coupling in the surrounding of EMF, which we're going to show later in this video. Watch to the very end. I'm going to show you how I test these shoes. So Bahé Shoes sent me a pair of sandals and also a pair of their latest tennis shoes to test. And let's unpack these. These sandals are stylish, and you can see that there are Velcro straps to help secure your feet into the sandals. On the back, there's a carbon-infused sole so that it can actually be conductive. So let's test 2 points here. So about less than 60 kilo ohms or 60,000 ohms. How about from a part here? So that's actually pretty good conductance there. So depending on where you're testing on the shoe, this is here less than 5 kilo ohms. And then how about end to end? So about 5 kilo ohms. And when you flip the shoe over, you'll notice that cleverly there's a different color thread. There's a silver-like thread here, and then there's also a brown thread. If you check the conductance or the resistance in the silver threading, it is roughly about 10 to 20 kilo ohms. So the key is this conductive from this strap, which is going to touch your feet and your ankles to the back here? And indeed it does. It's less than 11 kilo ohms or 11,000 ohms, which is excellent. So if you're looking for a grounding product, it should be less than 100,000 ohms because all of the research papers published to date that shows biological benefits of earthing and grounding has a 100,000 ohm resistor. So anything less than that is okay. And you want a little bit of resistance because it slows down the flow of current that actually is being discharged from your body. And also possibly if there's any other current in the ground or any stray currents in the ground, it actually reduces the current that enters your body. So the second pair of shoes I got from Bahé are tennis shoes. These are the latest line. I did receive the shoes at no charge for an honest video review. These tennis shoes are stylish. I got the black pair. And again, they have the black soles here, which are carbon infused and can be conductive. So touching 2 points here. So these shoes have a little bit higher resistance, about 200 kiloohms. Longer distance, it's around 500,000 ohms. End to end, it's roughly around 200 kiloohms. Now, keep in mind that you do want some resistance, as I mentioned before, to restrict the current inflow to your body if there's any stray currents, and also to reduce the current outflow of your body, because current is actually what damages the cells in your body, as well as the voltage potential that occurs through capacitive coupling. So in the inside of the shoe, there is that silver thread, and you'll see that silver thread on both sides of the shoe here. So if you touch the silver thread, so the insole's silver thread is less than a few kiloohms. So let's test it from the back to the front. And it's a few kiloohms from this surface to the back surface here. So this surface has thread, and then it's conductive all the way through. So in the inside, you can see there's silver thread as well, and that silver thread is connected to the conductive sole of the shoe here. So let's put the insole back into the shoe. We're going to put one lead touching the thread inside the shoe, and then the other on the back of the conductive sole. And also, depending on where I touch, I can actually get down to below 30 kiloohms, which is actually excellent. Again, you want some resistance in the shoe, and 30 kiloohms is perfect. So let's test these for body voltage drop while I'm standing next to an EMF source. So before we get into testing shoes, let me show you the grounding setup and also how the multimeter is set up. So here we have a Fluke 287 meter set on alternating current voltage. So remember, we're measuring alternating current because through capacitive coupling of EMF, alternating current EMF, we actually generate a alternating current through the body, and that can be measured as a voltage AC. So the black lead here is connected to the voltmeter all the way to a grounding rod. And it just clipped directly onto a 18-inch stake in the ground right next to a plastic mat. So you want a non-conductive surface to stand on to actually get a reading of ungrounded, and you can step off onto the dirt to be grounded. This is the Bahé Revive shoe, and this is the tennis shoe version, and I'm going to test how well it grounds the body. I stand on this mat here, which is non-conductive. I'm also next to where the electrical system is actually entering into my home. This is the highest area of EMF here in my yard, and so I'm going to show you what my voltage AC is. So this is my voltmeter, and as I pinch the red lead, you can see that it jumps up, okay? And this is a dose response, because as I'm further away from this electrical source, there is less capacitive coupling on my body, so therefore there's less voltage AC. But as I get closer and closer and closer to the electrical box, you can actually see that my voltage AC actually climbs. So let's see what happens when I step onto the earth with these shoes. The voltage drops to 0. On the mat, the voltage jumps up. On the dirt, goes to 0. These Bahé shoes ground extremely well, and the voltage, the body voltage drops nicely, and that's what you want. You want your body voltage to drop. You want the extra electrical potential that's being induced through capacitive coupling on your body through the EMF pollution that surrounds us here in this world that we live in, the modern world. You want that to drain off, because the excess voltage in your body will lead to oxidative stress. Oxidative stress will lead to damage to your cells long term that can lead to inflammation, sleep disturbances, mood disturbances, illnesses, diabetes, and many, many, many other illnesses. I encourage you to watch my other videos on earthing and grounding so that you can learn more about the science and the clinical evidence for grounding and earthing for human health. These are the Bahé sandals, and I got them for my wife, so I don't fit in them. So what I'm going to do is grab the conductive straps with my fingers and then show you the body voltage drop. This is my body voltage ungrounded while standing on the plastic mat. However, when I touch these sandals to the earth, you can see that my body voltage goes down to 0. So Bahé shoes. Their shoes, their sandals, their products are outstanding, and I do recommend them for grounding purposes. And I know that style depends on your preference, and so you can shop around and look at their site and see what different styles you like. And now you also know how to test grounding products properly so that you can determine yourself if these grounding products are actually working as advertised. Thank you for joining me today. If you have any product suggestions that you want me to test for future videos, put them in the comments below. Also, if you have any questions or even comments or feedback, please also put them below as well. And also, please hit the subscribe button so that you can get notifications for my future videos. Until next time, have a wonderful day.